Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 615. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Ahoy.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. Live, streaming on Twitch Tuesday night starting at 8 o'clock. Do the movie cast, do the Gamecast. Please join us there. Following us, if you don't get us that night, the following day we post to YouTube. So, hey, check out that channel. Subscribe to either hit that smash that like button, leave a comment for us. We also leave the chat windows open here. I try to keep an eye on it during the podcast. So please, if you're watching, you can always chat with us on here and send us a question. But this is the Gamecast, guys, number 615. So let's kick it off. We got a lot of news to get into. A lot of news. What have we been playing?
Let's do it.
What have we been playing? Tony?
See, I beat Kirby and the Forgotten.
That's right. You were
World.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on. So Nintendo games typically do this thing where it's like, okay, if you just want to beat the game, see the credits, whatever. Maybe the last world or two will be difficult and stuff like that. But then there's always like a bonus one. Well, not always, but usually there's a bonus one after you beat that, and they want you to demonstrate the mastery of the mechanics or whatever. It's like that. And this one was pretty tough for Kirby. Actually, I was really surprised. In just like you took a lot more damage. The bosses had more like attacks and stuff like that, and faster behavior and patterns and stuff like that. And the last boss, I actually died to, like the final boss, I actually died to a couple times, and I was like kind of mad because it was like the first time, spoiler alert, I died to the first phase. Second time, I died to the second phase, and the third time, I beat the second phase. I was like, okay, there you go, that's it. Fucking motherfucker pulled out a third phase. I was like, yo, what is this Dark Souls Elden Ring bullshit right now? Because I had like no health left. I didn't conserve it because, like I said, in Kirby games, I'm just kind of like, look, yeah. I'll just trade DPS with you guys. Like that's fine. And then the third boss just wrecked me. So it took me a couple tries. But I was like, and it's funny because I specifically played this game to like take a break from like Elden Ring and stuff like that, like wind down. So I was like, okay, I see you, HAL Labs. I see you. You guys could make Kirby really difficult if you wanted to, but I'm glad you don't. So that was good, and just a bit more Splatoon 3. Still just complaining about sweaty kids that are absurdly high ranked and leveled, and I'm just like, make me feel old. I can't compete with these monsters. So it's a sad grip of reality. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So some managed to have fun most of the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike.
Just still going back and forth between the Cowabunga collection and NBA 2K23.
Okay.
I did for the first time try an online thing with the Cowabunga collection, and it was not great. I did try to do a team up Turtles in Time with 4 players, and it worked, but it was so laggy that everything was in slow motion, and the music, the audio, was also like lagging behind like that, so it sounded weird the whole time. Like all those songs are playing in slow motion, so that's not great. But whatever. It's not a huge feature in this game, but if you're playing like the arcade games, you kind of want to get those 4 people together, and more often than not, you're going to need to go online and do that. So it is a little bit lame, but they could fix it. I don't know how much they will with patches, but right now it's pretty rough. It is one of the weak points of the game.
Yeah, Digital Eclipse did announce on their Twitter, I believe, that they are working on some patching and stuff like that. Because apparently on social media, people are upset about the online offering.
Yeah, it's not great.
And stuff like that.
Interesting.
So
okay.
Well, it's
also very
aware of it.
Yeah, it's also very limited. It's only for the 2 arcade games, Hyperstone Heist, and the SNES Tournament Fighters. Those are the only ones where online is available. Of the like 15 games in there, so it's interesting.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, Corey.
Nothing really of note right now.
All right. I haven't really played much. It's funny is I packed my Switch with me to go play with it at work, and I didn't. However, and I don't know if I want to do this on this podcast because we have a lot of news to get into. I did get this box in the mail.
Nice, there it is.
And I haven't even unboxed it yet.
Well, there.
Shoes?
So
Steam Deck for you listeners out there.
It's a Steam Deck for the listeners.
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to unbox it on the air. I don't know if you guys want to do that. but we have a lot of news.
Yeah.
So I was gonna, maybe I'll do
It's
another
not really
video.
like the funny thing with that is like the packaging is the box
You know
for
what's
the
funny
game.
is I didn't even know that when I was opening the box, I wasn't going to get like there wasn't another box inside of it. So
Yes.
I didn't know that, and so. But that's it. I mean, it's like you said, Corey. I finally got on board with this thing.
It's good you got it because like there's been like a lot of stories of people just getting theirs just swiped off of there.
Really, I didn't know that. Wow. There it goes.
Wait, the shipping package, like
The shipping
That is it.
The shipping package is the box
Yeah.
for the game.
You can see it. Yeah, you can see the serial numbers
Why
on
would
it.
they
And
do
everything.
that?
Yep. Yeah.
That's fucked.
Why is
And
this
it's got
back
like,
here?
hey, this is a Steam Deck, everybody, on the outside. Like, you
What is
know,
this, Corey?
No.
that's where your charger goes.
Oh, okay. So interesting.
The
Yeah,
charger
but-
brick is in the,
Well, they
on the
really
side there.
lock this though right here. See, like they really make
They
sure
do
you-
that, yeah.
They really make sure you've opened it. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I have the Steam Deck. I'll be compiling
One
things.
of us.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun.
Steam Deck for the win.
Yeah. So all right, that's it for me though. Like I said, I haven't had time to play some games this week, but let's get into some news. Hang on here, get that open. We will kick it off with some. Let's kick it off with the bad stuff first. Let's talk about the Death of Stadia.
Is that bad?
Is that?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, for the people that
I mean, if you wanted to play Destiny on your Steam Deck
Yeah.
real easily,
Yeah.
you can use Stadia.
so.
'Cause- but anyway, yes.
I just love the support that they didn't have for this ever. And again, Google, we talked about this when they announced it.
We knew it. We all talked about
Yeah.
it. We were like, this is fucking going to be dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so Stadia is turning off. When's it going offline officially?
End of the year.
January, I think.
Yeah, end of the
Yeah.
year. They're actually, though, they give them credit though. They're
Yes,
refunding
yeah.
everybody, right?
The refunding people. I think except for the founders pack, because that was like I forget. But like most people are getting refunded
Yeah.
on both the hardware and any games they purchase. Which that that deserves
I'll have
recognition.
to check in on that.
Yeah.
If I get a refund,
But I don't know. I mean,
got
it
my
just
Steam or my Stadia controller.
Yeah.
I've heard of some people say that if they knew that they would get refunded if it fell apart like this, they probably would have tried it.
Well,
People who hadn't tried it.
why wouldn't you?
No, well, I know, but I mean that was the main concern. People going in is like, oh, this is Google. This is a weird streaming thing. This might all disappear like that, and it's a sunk cost at that point. But if they knew that this would get refunded like this, which is somewhat unprecedented, then they would have been like, all right, cool. Let's give this a try. Let's try out this technology. But that wasn't known at the time.
it's unfortunate because from my understanding, the technology was great and it was there. It's just the marketing team and the finance, whoever decided the business model of it was just terrible. Because I mean, like again, I've said it so many places. Like there is room for cloud gaming in the future. Absolutely. There is a segment of the population worldwide that does not have access to hardware and or software as easily as we are in America.
Only problem with that, Tony, is they also don't have access to the infrastructure for online gaming as well.
I mean, you're right, but there are countries that actually will have better internet infrastructure than
No, they will.
the average American. Sadly,
No, I mean, there's also like the satellite options as well.
right, and stuff like that. But it's just for Google to be like, out of all the business models we could emulate or come up with, the one it's going to be is, hey, so in addition to buying the hardware, you're going to buy games at full retail price, $59.99, that you can only access online. It's just it's a mind-boggling that they're like, yep, that's what we need to do. It's like, why do you deserve
in a world where Game Pass exists?
Right.
I mean, that's the thing, is where you have an online gaming service somewhat that is offering a Netflix style in a way.
Yeah.
Offerings like, and then you're gonna just start charging people full price games. That's never gonna work.
Yeah, that was the problem with it the whole time, and it's a bad thing all around. And they could have had, I mean, like you said, like with like Game Pass modeling, it could have been something special with without the hardware. Because I feel like Xbox has a good plan for their cloud-based gaming. They've already started to do that with, like, when we're playing old games, Xbox games, they're cloud streamed through, like, their emulation essentially through you. So it's good. It's not a terrible idea, but like, again, like you guys said, it's the cost of it. The cost of it was just insane.
No, and I have to say, like, playing Destiny, before I had a computer that could run stuff, like, you could play Destiny in Chrome and get, like, a really good performance because you were not running it on your machine, physically in your house. Yeah. And so you're getting some great performance from that, but you had to stream it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you also had to pay full price for these games, and
okay,
and you had to pay for, like, didn't you have to pay for, like, access to these games also? Like, there was, like, some weird, like, I need to be a member or something, and then I can get access to these.
I think they had early releases to certain tiers, and for those wondering, here, by the way, here's it officially opened.
Hey, so, there it is. Oh, that's shiny.
Yeah. Is officially
Steam
mine.
Deck.
Is officially mine. I waited. I have some screen protectors here. So I love this. I love this company, by the way.
That's what I use.
Yeah, I bought this for my Switch. Like, when I first bought the Switch, that screen has not gotten scratched. I mean, it has held up really well.
Yeah, it's flawless.
Mine too. Yeah. So, and I got the Anchor dock that Corey recommended. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yep. But yeah, so I mean, it's a shame, but I give them credit for at least refunding the money to people. Because everybody knew it was a beta test. It was a test. It was everything that Google has ever done in their lives besides Gmail. It's just a test. That's it.
And this is just part of where, like, your reputation as a company can help or hurt you.
Yeah.
Because, like, so many people are, like, skeptical from the get-go because it's just like, oh, it's Google. And you just look at the list of things Google has killed over the years. If it doesn't, and it could be any number of metrics that it doesn't meet, even if it meets or exceeds other ones. Like, they'll just kill a product, and you're like, okay, well, why did I spend all that time? Not even, like, even if it was free, it's like you spent the time to learn it, and use it, and then it's like they're just like pull the rug out. So whatever. Feel bad for the engineers and everybody who worked on it, but yeah.
Well, not for Phil Harrison. That guy's killed everything he's touched.
Phil Harrison. I don't understand how this is the definition of an old white dude just failing upwards. It's like, you fucking ruined PlayStation.
It's because
you
it's not,
fucked up Xbox.
It's not what you know, it's who you know.
And Atari. Didn't he do that Atari thing?
Yeah, he did Atari.
But again, it's not what you know, it's who you know in this industry, in any industry. And he's got so many contacts. It doesn't matter how bad he is.
But why? Like, why? Like, I wouldn't want to be friends with a loser.
All right, so look at this. He fucked up Sony, then went to Atari thing and fucked that up, and then he went to Gaikai, and then
yes, I forgot about that.
And then he went to Microsoft to fuck that up, and then Google. Wow.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Goodbye, Stadia. We hardly missed you. Join the Ouya and
Ouya's got a resurgence, man. That's still going.
It's the hack machine. So
yeah, it's like I said,
I can't wait.
Survived longer than Stadia.
I think I might fire up some Dragon Force on this tomorrow.
Nice.
And for those wondering about emulation, yes, I have Dragon Force. I can show you the disc on air right now if you want to see it. There are actually 3 discs in my house right now. One is
I gotta get mine.
Yeah, yours is here.
Pirates.
Nick's is here. So I have the 3rd disc, which I believe I must have bought at some point. But there's a 3rd disc here, so I own it. Anyways, all right. Let's get into the news, fun stuff now. Let's get into good stuff. We've got let's go with Steam Deck again. Shipped over 1 million units. Give them credit.
Yeah.
Give them credit.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Good for them. They've. I mean, they're blitzing through back orders. I was expecting this in November, December. That's when I was. Like, I got it before. When did I order this? We were talking about it on air on the podcast. I think it was
just like a month ago.
I think it was July. It was maybe mid-August. It might have been mid-August.
I thought it was only like a month because I was like, wait, what? You got it already?
It may have been late August. You're right. It may have been late August. I was shocked when it shipped. So I have to look up when I first pre-ordered that. That's true. But 1 million units shipped. They are somehow in this. Well, the chip shortage is starting to end, right? I mean that's true. But somehow they are just blowing through it. You know what? August 2nd was the purchase. So
the 64 gig versions are much more readily available.
Oh, they are okay.
250s and 512s.
That's what I got because I'm getting a micro SD card stuff like. I'm waiting for Prime Day for that.
That'll be a good.
One. Yeah.
It's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah, that's why I figured I'm gonna just hold
10,
off.
11, something like
it's
that.
Not even 2. It's a week away. So I'll hope to find a terabyte SD card, a micro SD card. So, but 64 gigs for right now is fine for me. Obviously, if I'm going to play more PC games on that right now, emulation's fine with that. But PC games, I understand. I'm going to have to get a micro SD card for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So good for them. Shipping over 1 million. That's awesome news for them. Considering I did not expect this thing to be what it is.
Well, the thing that was fun is we didn't really talk about it in the movie cast, but expanding your brand, that's what you got to do that, right? In today's day and age, you got to get yourself everywhere possible, and this is just doing that for Steam like crazy. It's like people that don't necessarily want that computer experience, like Jim. I mean, Jim, you're the perfect example. You're getting a console, air quotes, console version of a PC desktop gaming machine, you can use it in both ways.
Again, I have nothing wrong with PCs. I just use them. I don't know how you guys aren't burnt out.
That is no longer an excuse, Jim. That is no longer an excuse.
But I don't know how you guys use them when you get home. Like I'm using mine tonight on Tuesday night, and it doesn't get touched until the following week. I just don't touch my computer when I get home. I'm on it all
that's
day,
fair.
so.
You want to separate work life.
Yeah, I just see it as work. But it is now in a game form.
That's a mental thing, man. You should get a therapist for that.
I should. That's true. I don't know what to tell you. That's true. So, but yeah, I mean, cool. All right, let's talk about this is interesting news. Halo developer is reportedly switching to the Unreal Engine is it the next Halo? We were joking about a remake maybe of Halo Infinite. Do you think they actually changed the game over to this?
I don't see how they can do that.
Changing over would involve a lot of fucking money, a lot of crunch.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that, but
they'd have to shut it down too for a while.
Well, what I do expect is I do expect them to kill Halo Infinite prematurely, a year or two.
And you know what though?
It's not Halo Infinite. It's Halo
Finite.
Infinite. The Infinite? Yes.
Which, sucks again for everyone who bought in early on. So.
Well, the thing was free for most people who wanted to try, and then they got everything out of it that they got their money's worth, I'd say.
Yeah. You know what really needs to happen, and I can't stress this enough. 343 needs to not have Halo anymore. We can't stress that enough on this podcast.
We've already dealt with this though because they, everyone's new there now, or
I'm shocked
at least
leadership has changed, so hopefully
I'm shocked that they made this decision. They made a decision finally.
Yeah.
Good for them. All right.
It's going to hurt.
Talking about remakes, maybe. Horizon Zero Dawn is reportedly in the works for PS5. Do we want it? Do we need it? I mean, seriously? This game looked great on the PS4. Mm-hmm. And it's backwards compatible. You can play it.
Want it?
It's patched for PS5 too.
Yeah, no, yeah. I know. Yeah, absolutely. What are we going to get with this, really?
The only thing I can, again, mentally I picture it looking a lot like Horizon 2, where so the difference would be slightly better graphics in general, but way better facial capture for everyone.
Gotcha.
And I don't know what else.
I mean, if they do what they did with The Last of Us, I suppose, they implemented a lot of the stuff they learned with making Last of Us 2 into The Last of Us Remake. I guess they could enhance the AI, I guess, but at the same time, you don't need this. I would much rather have those resources working on something new.
Yeah,
it just feels really odd because they just released Horizon on PC as well. So it's
sure. And that's
how many times are you going to release this fucking game in 5 years?
But that's what brings me. That's what I was going to bring to another point. Quick side mini discussion. How long is good to do a remake? A remake, not a.
You need a remake.
10 years.
More than one console.
I'd go with more. I was gonna say I'd be more generational. I'd say is more likely. I would like to see maybe a Xbox 360 or Xbox One game now is was a remade.
But
Hey, let's make
But this is what we're getting here. We're getting
That's
PS4
that's
game.
one generation. That's
Yeah.
not. See, no, I need two. I need two
I guess
generations
something
to
in earlier.
justify
You're
it.
talking about an early gen game, but that goes
Right,
by years.
right.
But that goes by years, Corey. It's not by generations. You can't go by console generations.
No, that's fair. I was thinking more of like Arkham, Arkham Knight. You could remake Arkham Knight or whatever Arkham Asylum type of game.
I think a good example of this would be Skyward Sword. That was a game that released on a console that wasn't able to, I would argue, handle what that game wanted to be.
And that's what I mean, like generational. Like if you have a game that really does not belong on that system, like that system's holding it back.
Yes,
and remake it for the system that can handle it.
Like that's the funny part about this thing, and this is no knock on the Switch. Please don't take this as a knock, but Breath of the Wild is a game that I could see being remade if they re-released. If they bring out a new console, like that should be like a remake of that game, because it could be so much more. Like
I mean, that's the thing. It's like that's the thing. Is like when there's obvious improvements to be made, and one of those, and I've been an advocate for forever on this podcast, but 60 frames per second is a game changer. Absolutely. I don't care like what you feel or what you don't recognize. 60 frames per second is one of the best things you could possibly do for a game.
It took me a long time.
How it plays, how it looks, etc., stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because most 99% of developers will prioritize visual fidelity over how it plays and stuff like that. So if game running on new hardware allows that to be taken to 60 FPS, I'm all for it. That's great. But Horizon is not that. Horizon was already running at 60 FPS right now if you load it up on the PS5 and stuff like that, or maybe even the PS4 Pro. I don't remember the specifics, but it's like this. There's no tangible, noticeable benefit. Like, I guess you could improve the lighting, but like I don't know, it just feels weird. Especially if this is like a retail disc. Like if they're like, hey, buy Horizon Zero Dawn remake or remaster, whatever the fuck
they're gonna come out with some collector edition or something.
Right? Are they gonna price it full price? Is it gonna be $70, $50? Like, you know,
my guess is they'll have like a version that's $90 with like some statue or something.
They'll probably include that game did have DLC that was somewhat substantial, so they'll probably
but you get that with there. I mean you get that for $50 on PC.
Yeah.
With the DLC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Game of the Year edition, whatever they want to call it.
Complete edition, I think is what they specifically called it. Mm-hmm. But it's just really weird. And again, I mean, we can talk about like the Skyrim thing where it's like, hey, if you guys want to stop releasing it, stop buying it. But like, this is super weird. Like, it's a newer IP. Yeah, it sold well. Great. I'm happy for it and stuff like that. But like, for the Sony figureheads to be like, oh, you know what needs a remaster already? I mean, out of all the games that we released on PlayStation 4, one of our last ones that we released. It's like, what? Like,
you know what it is? It's strike while their iron's hot, and they want the dollars, and that game will sell again as a remake. Where they're not sure about the other stuff, the older stuff.
Well, that and like Corey alluded to, they want to tie in. They want to tie into the Horizon movie or whatever.
Yeah, the show or whatever's coming out. Yeah,
whatever the fuck it's coming out. So like, I get it, but like, this to me is just really weird because it's like, just like the Last of Us 1 comparisons. Like, you look at that now and you're like, I guess the game looks better. Like, I don't know. Like, some screenshots, I think, okay, it looks better. And then some I'm just like, I don't know about that, man.
It's like almost like they just wanted to match like Last of Us Part 2 and Last of Us Part 1. Now you have Part 1 and Part 2 and they look the same.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that, but like, saying that the whole new game, I mean, you look at any of these other publishers, that are like, hey, here's the next gen version for free. Like, we're going to talk about them in a few minutes. CD Projekt Red. Here's the next gen version of Witcher 3 for free if you own it.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk 2077. You own the PS4 disc, you have the PS5 version, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I assume Sony's not going to be this generous. I could be wrong here. I could be wrong, but I feel like I can go out on a limb here and say that they were going to charge money for this. So it just feels super weird.
They just need to just use those resources elsewhere. That's how I feel.
The thing. Like, it's super disappointing to me personally because, like, out of all the PS4 games, I'm like, do fucking Bloodborne, dude. Like, do it. Like, first of all, you remake it. That game has a ton of stuff.
And that's a PS4 game that came out pretty early.
Yeah, yes, exactly. One of the first, first year, I think, or whatever. 2, okay, that game, hot off the heels of Elden Ring, you can use that as advertising from the creators of Elden Ring.
Did great too.
Right. Oh, yeah, I mean,
on 5 for PS5.
Yeah, absolutely. And then 3, you can double dip by releasing it on PC. But like, apparently that just doesn't make the numbers happy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Fucking Sony's just. I mean, the other thing is we left out is that it supposedly this is coming alongside a multiplayer game or mode or something
In the Horizon world.
Weird.
Yeah.
in the Horizon world.
Weird.
So I don't
how
know.
that would work.
I'm assuming it's going to be like a closest thing I could think of is Monster Hunter, where you know,
Oh,
that.
doing a couple of,
That I could see.
I mean,
They had a crossover event too before.
yeah. So I mean, that's why I think it kind of makes sense there.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. And meanwhile, I'm still waiting on like thoughts or an announcement of actual DLC for Forbidden West, which there should be something.
the game was just
But-
released this year. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We'll probably see it in December with the State of Play or something.
Yep.
Game
Maybe.
Awards.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about CD Projekt Red then for what they're doing now. Basically,
I think this is bad news disguised as good news, honestly. But
I mean, okay. So they announced first thing they announced today was Project Orion. I want to say, right? That was the sequel to the sequel in production for Cyberpunk. So they've announced that, including they're still working on the expansion, which was what's that called? That expansion?
Phantom Liberty.
Phantom Liberty.
yeah,
So that's
which
still in production.
they should be. Well, yeah, but that's coming pretty soon,
Yes, that is,
sometime
yeah.
early next year, supposedly.
And I'm not surprised though about the sequel to this game. They want to build this into a trilogy or a big game for them.
It's a pillar.
Yeah, and they want to do that from the beginning. And then I would say, like you said, Tony, the anime probably picked up enough hype that they can. Not that this wasn't in production before. It was. It just was like let's make another. Let's keep pushing this. Let's keep.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not
Let's
going to be
tell
this
them
movie.
everything.
Let's cash the excitement here. Let's cash the
Oh
excitement.
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Is like I'm sure either way, even if they didn't release the anime, they'd be talking about the sequel to Cyberpunk today. They would have talked about it because you have to say it if you're trying to impress your investors, and especially on a year where like there's not much good news at all for them to really speak of. This is like low-hanging fruit for them, and I think the anime did give them something to rally around, both as a company and its fans and stuff like that. That's good for them. And I mean, they even did highlight that they have more movie and animation things lined up, for their various IP and stuff like that. So it makes sense there. But I mean, we'll see if it comes to fruition. I mean, CD Projekt Red has their own things, but just to view the listeners in, so they outlined their product outlook long term. So you have The Witcher, and there's 3 projects for that called, one is called Sirius by the Molasses Flood developer. They have New Witcher Trilogy, and that's internally at CD Projekt Red, and they have Canis Majoris, which is they just cited as being developed by a third party. For Cyberpunk 2077, they have the Phantom Liberty expansion, Orion then, and that's developed internally. And then also the third thing they have is new IP, and it's just called Hadar right now, and that's being developed internally. So
starting another one. That's stretching to you're working on Witcher, Cyberpunk, and then the third one.
No. Well, so all of this seems very ambitious, but the thing that scares me the most is that this Witcher trilogy they expect to release within 6 years, which just seems beyond their capabilities.
One of these
in my
Witchers,
opinion.
is open world. They said, right?
well, so my understanding
That's
of
Project Polaris.
Yeah.
yeah,
Story-driven open world RPG built in the legacy of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
my understanding of that is they want a little bit of a shorter experience than like the typical in Witcher 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because Witcher 3 took fucking forever and came out. And apparently what they want to release the base game, and then the trilogy is going to be significant. Like I think Blood and Wine DLC was like the really meaty Witcher 3 one. I forget, or something like that. But that's the intent that they want the games to be on that level of like, hey, stuff like that. And plus with them switching over to Unreal Engine, which we reported on a couple weeks or months ago or something like that, I could see that, that cutting down development time, especially if they're going to be using that engine for all 3 games. I mean, you don't have to recreate things every single time. And I mean, if you just look at Witcher 1 to 2 to 3, like there is a significant increase in everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
complexity,
I mean, all on
visual,
different
production.
hardware too. So
Right, exactly. So,
but yeah, 6-year period, 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, they
I
could
wouldn't say it's
definitely do it.
guaranteed. I wouldn't say it's guaranteed, but what they have going, like I could see it being successful, but we'll see.
Especially if they can get them out on time, that would be amazing.
Right.
And working and functional. You know what I mean? That,
Yeah.
They got 150 people currently involved right now.
Do they they won't make that same mistake again. Like there's no way they make that same mistake. So
Well, they did open up 2 new offices. One is in Boston, actually, and I think one, I forget if it's Vancouver or something like that. So they opened up 2 new studios. So,
okay,
you know, that was a long time coming. It's not like those things just spring up overnight.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they used Witcher 3 money to help do that. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, you know, hopefully they learned their lesson from Cyberpunk 2077 and can gain the goodwill and momentum through the anime and the
ride
Fan of Liberty.
that
and,
goodwill.
you know,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, exactly. You know,
and,
I mean,
don't screw it up after that. You know,
right, and especially if their next game is going to be a Witcher release. I mean, the Witcher fan base, from my understanding, loves the company and stuff like that. Like they don't feel as scorned,
Yeah.
you know, by
So.
the release of the game.
All right. Let's circle back now to remakes. I wanted to cleanse the palate a little bit because we're talking about bad remakes, and now I want to talk about Dead Space, that remake that we just saw the trailer released for today. And I gotta say, holy shit, that game looked pretty good back when it came out, though. But this remake looks incredible. I mean, it looks a fantastic game. Holy cow. I mean, I just can't even I mean, you know what's funny is like when I watched this trailer today, I was like, I remember this game looking this way, but it didn't. In your mind, it looked that way.
In your mind, it does.
And that's a tale
It's
of a
a Final
good game.
Fantasy VII
and
remake.
that's a tale of a good game. Like that's how you know it was a good game, because it's like you remember it looking that way, and you're like, it didn't look that way at all, but you know, graphically we were there, you know. So it just looked really impressive, and it's fluid, and you know, and it's funny because like Dead Space games, they're not usually for me, but you know, I obviously know of the first game. I watched a lot of the first game in terms of people playing it, but I might actually get into play this remake finally. This is going to get me to buy into it. So looks good. Do we get a release date for this or no? January? Okay.
Second week, I think, or something like that. Yeah, it looks really good. I think I'll be picking up. The sad thing is I own the first one on Steam or something like that, but I never got around to playing it. And this is one of the things where I'm like, well, you know what? I mean, this is the type of game I want to see more of, you know, these days. And
this is a remake.
First of all, this is EA. This is fucking EA we're talking about. They're releasing a full content AAA single player experience, no transactions, no micro things, no loot boxes, anything like that.
What world
no
is this?
Right, what world is this? So, you know, and it looks good. And so it was one of those things I always wanted to. I just never got it. I think the one I did put time to do was like the first iPhone game that they came out with. I remember that being actually kind of fun.
Yeah. I remember that.
So, you know, I'm like, well, you know, gotta support what you want to see. And I mean, January, you know, is looking like.
I mean, that's cool because we got Callisto Protocol in December, and then you get Dead Space in January. That's pretty nice for you.
Oh, man, it's just one of those things that's unfortunate in terms of like, you know, are they going to cannibalize sales for each other and stuff like that? Who knows, you know?
Callisto Protocol looks so good though, and what's their name from the hero, the boys show was in that game.
Yeah. I forget her name, but she's in it.
The Asian woman, the Wolverine character.
Yeah, Wolverine.
But no, that's exciting. I'm excited for it. Dead Space was fantastic, and I hope it's successful because Dead Space 2 just took it to another level, and I'm just like so excited.
Yeah, I hear the 2 is like the pinnacle of that series because 3 was when EA got their hand and was like, hey,
people like this. Let's do some microtransactions
we gotta
here.
make money on the side with this. Come on. So.
But
so
I
those
remember,
loot boxes,
it was cool too. It's like Dead Space was one of the first games that like took the UI out of like the screen and put it into the game, and that was really cool.
Yeah. So cool.
And I mean, that was the first thing in the trailer too. I thought that was really nice touching.
Yep. Cool. I think that's it for the news. Do we have anything else I missed? I was trying to look through.
Do we want to talk about all that Overwatch nonsense?
Yeah. Well, the Overwatch
2 was released today.
And
launched.
So
today.
Overwatch 1 is over. You
It's
can't
dead.
use it. Yeah, it's dead.
You cannot play it.
Offline. So Overwatch 2 launched, and servers are not working really well. I guess they released finally that they're getting DDoS'd quite a bit.
Massive DDoS attack on our servers.
Yeah,
caused delays.
I mean, that could just be a load of garbage. Obviously, it's the perfect go-to excuse for things.
I mean, it's the president of Blizzard now. I really doubt he would lie publicly on his official account.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what people here might believe, like if you lie to people in a public space, that is also lying to your investors.
I got you.
That's a big thing,
especially after Blizzard went through some shit.
Yes,
so yeah,
absolutely.
Person to lie to.
You're in the middle of a Microsoft transaction here. That
I mean, I
making
can
a public
understand
statement on your Twitter.
them
Yeah, I got you.
doing it though. Like I get because people are so upset about this game. It's very controversial, it seems, and so it just makes sense that some nerd will find a bot to start just DDoSing the servers.
goes back to neckbeards being asshats.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's what it goes back to. End of the day, that's what it is. I mean, people with too much time that hate what is going on with Blizzard and the Activision Blizzard purchase with Microsoft, the Overwatch 1 being brought offline into this game that's maybe an upgrade. Maybe it is. I don't know. Arguably, whatever. So they're pissed.
The thing that gets me is like Overwatch 2 is supposed to be like, oh, we're gonna introduce PvE and like this is gonna be the big thing for this game, and we're gonna make it this massive like Destiny style like single like or not single player, but like you know what I'm saying, like an open world
Co-op,
PvE co-op thing. And it's nowhere to be found, and we're gonna just shut down.
They're
Somebody
fucking
wanted
watching
it.
it. Yep,
Right there.
exactly.
Yep.
That's what it is. I remember saying that when they're like last year when it was supposed to come out Q1 of this year. I was like, that's bullshit. Especially if we haven't seen anything of the PvE mode. I don't think anything publicly has been shown off. I could be wrong with that, but
And like that universe is like we've been talking about, like that universe is primed for like content, anything.
Exactly. And you want to talk about building a brand? Like the fucking people at Blizzard fuck this up. Like if we had like an Overwatch anime, an Overwatch movie, like whatever, like they could have expanded the brand, but they fucking chose to just focus on the fucking esports. And I'm not gonna criticize like esports. Like I thought it was cool. I was totally into it, but it's like it took all the attention. It was like, why? Why are you putting all your attention in this thing?
Yeah.
That I get it, and I support you in doing that, but like you need to do other things to promote this brand. And
it was like such a cock tease too, because like they were putting out these shorts that were amazing.
The shorts were amazing.
They were great.
It's like,
oh
hey,
awesome.
You want this? Here, have a little taste. Like these things, like that Genji Hanzo, like
it's
short
top
was
tier. Yeah.
Like when that came out, I was like, all right, they just need to just make a show. Like everyone, like 100. You do a poll, like 100% of the people are like, yes, make a show. Like we're gonna watch this. We're gonna like support it. And no, they just like were like, well, that's all you get. Then we'll cut another character, like 5-minute thing. It's just so disappointing because everybody wanted this. It was just all just wanted, starving for more content like that.
Yeah. And apparently it's all gross free-to-play stuff where you have to unlock all the old characters anyway if you don't somehow link to your old account from the first game. Well, I actually saw footage of it too. It really does just look like the same game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is because like it's supposed to be same engine.
It's old.
For the character thing, I don't mind because I mean, if you're a new account, it's honestly one of those things where kind of like the fighting game mentality where it's like they don't give you most of them these days don't give you all the characters right away because it's like imagine having all the Smash Brothers. You're a new player and you buy Smash Brothers and you get 70-something characters right off the bat. It's like overwhelming and stuff like that. So you're supposed to learn that. And same thing, League of Legends doesn't do that. They don't give you all the champions at once. That's too overwhelming. And plus, it also cuts down on alt accounts, people boosting, new accounts and stuff like that. Because I mean, that ruined part of Overwatch competitive. Was just like you're facing somebody that's brand new, and it's like they're playing at a platinum performance, diamond performance level. You're like, yeah, that's not legitimate and stuff like that. So I'm fine with that aspect of the decision, but everything else, fuck them.
Yeah,
it's just so disappointing, and like it honestly is painful because like I even have like some statues, some figure stuff of Overwatch.
Oh yeah, I do you know how many actual in-game packs I bought? Like I was like, I spent some money on
way into that shit.
Well, I spent so much time in that game. I feel like I owed them to pay a little more for some of that stuff.
Tony and I went to like physical Overwatch League matches. Like we met Overwatch League players.
You
It's
have
like
jerseys.
you
You
know,
have
like we
jerseys,
were.
right?
Yeah, I have a jersey. Like I have a hat. Like I was all in. Like this is the epitome of
It's like the
die
future,
hero
yeah.
or
Yep.
live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like the thing is, I would obviously hope for Overwatch 2 to turn out to be successful, and maybe it'll pull like a No Man's Sky, and eventually it'll be a good game. It'll deliver on the promises they made. But just like what they're showing us right now, I'm just like, I don't know.
It's a
I
patch.
don't feel it.
It's
I
an
don't feel it. Yeah,
expansion. Yeah.
It
The
feels like
other thing is the people that are playing the game now too are just so toxic. Like it's like that's the other problem. It's hard to get into because it's just when you have a free to play game. I understand like a Fortnite or whatever. You're on your own. You can play on your own and just like do your thing. But when you have a team based game and it's like and just you have all these toxic players, you don't want to play with those people. Like it's just not fun.
Yeah. Yep. So. Yep. All right. And that's it. That's it. For
we're in bad news.
We're out.
Okay.
Sorry. I forgot about that news. I would have ended on Dead Space if I had remembered that news. But
Whatever.
Hey, Overwatch 2
we'll
is
survive
released,
it.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Yeah, it's out. I mean, if you're into it, you haven't played the first one. It's free to play. You may or may not be able to get online, but it's out. Congrats.
On the bright side, everybody.
Oh, Jennifer Hale is the voice actress for Bayonetta 3.
There you go.
She's in Bayonetta.
And on the bright side, everybody, once again, Jim has himself a Steam Deck. Let's
There
end
you
it
go.
on that
PC
note.
gaming.
It is actually very,
Even though it's
it
Linux.
is very comfortable. I have to say, like, this is comfy.
Ooh.
It really is. Corey had me try it at my bachelor party, and he didn't realize at the time he sold me. That was it. Like the emulation and the hold of it. I'm like, I gotta get this without a doubt. So
Yeah.
Anyone who likes handheld or PC gaming would love that thing. I don't like either thing, so it's not for me.
I'm not a
But
big
I can
handheld gamer,
see
but-
how everyone loves
Mike,
that.
But Mike, this is why
into
this
that.
exists right here. This is going right on my TV right here in this office.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug it right in. I'm gonna play it on the TV.
Yep.
That's a thing.
Hook up a controller.
This is a dock.
There you go.
This is a dock. It goes right into it, and then you plug it into your TV with these ports, and that's it. Can you use the expansion in this, the SD card slot?
Yeah. I mean, because it's got desktop mode.
Yeah.
So that's how I transfer stuff too.
Cool.
So
It's for storage.
that's why people are recommending that one for it.
Awesome. All right, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. You can write us allyoucangeek@gmail.com, and we're on Twitch Tuesday nights starting at 8 o'clock. Subscribe and leave some comments for us. I know they remove the videos now after like a week, which sucks. So that's why we're also on YouTube. The video shows up the next day, so you can subscribe to that channel and see all of the backlog of these videos. And the audio is always available, iTunes, Spotify, so always check those out if you want to just listen to us in the car. I know we do a couple visual things, but most of our stuff is audio-based, though. We're still old-fashioned with that. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. For
Post Comic Con, yeah.
Yeah, post Comic-Con. We're out.